yeah, when I was a kid, I think like most people or most kids, I liked to draw and make things, usually drawing like strange animals actually and different creatures, aquatic life. And so, yeah, so I mean, I think it's more interesting actually to think about like why people, not why they become artists, but why would you choose to do that career and continue like to be an artist. I work across all different media within my work. I don't have a particular technique or material that I use. I think about my work, I guess, like as a kind of world building practice. So what I mean by that is there will be lots of different elements to the work that make a kind of wider narrative. I'll work across like digital space as well as like physical space as well, without putting kind of differentiation between the two either. I think about it as kind of like creating a set or like a film set or something where something takes place, something can happen. It's very much like, I guess, the opposite of separate sort of art objects on the wall or separate sculptures. It's about creating this whole world and this whole environment. And yeah, my practice, like the actual concepts, I guess, about the practice, like I'm really interested in how we humans perceive the wider world, the wider natural world. So thinking about things that are not human, animals, different creatures, like how we understand the wider like natural world. And I think that the way that we understand it is very limited to our human perceptions, like the fact that we're humans, we understand the world in a certain way. So the exhibition is called The Cryptid Hunter, and cryptids are basically animals that are made up, that are not scientifically proven. The most famous cryptids, mythological creatures, are like the Loch Ness Monster and the Yeti and things like that. But the idea for the show is that if there's so many creatures in the world that haven't been discovered by man, then there's millions of cryptids like out there as these kind of, yeah, mysterious kind of creatures, I guess. So the idea in the show is that the cryptid hunter is potentially like this kind of fictional character or somebody that's trying to find out about this particular cryptid, this mythological creature. And so there's an installation like set up with a computer screen with somebody kind of searching like through Google about like stories about these particular like different like creatures. And the film as well is a kind of like journey, somebody's journey on the internet, looking through Reddit threads, like picking up different clues about a certain creature called Metis, which is supposedly a creature that's kind of like evolved from our pollution, like as human beings, and it's this kind of mutated creature that is also like made partly of plastic. A lot of the new work for the installation is actually been generated by AI. Yeah, I've used like a generative AI image making platform to make a lot of these I don't know, like apparitions, creatures, weird kind of forms on the prints in the gallery. There's a lot of conversation around artificial intelligence and what that is. I think there's a big problem here because of, you know, like what is something that's artificial in the first place? What is intelligence? What is consciousness? What is, you know, what does it mean for something to be sentient? Like, you know, and that's coming a lot of the time with thinking again, like from a human perspective, rather than thinking about like intelligence as coming from other creatures or other things or inanimate objects even. Yeah, the way that I like to think about it is like, you know, there are lots of things that can have intelligence in different ways, but not just the way that we perceive like human intelligence. It's like we used to think of things on the internet as like not being separate or something, or not affecting like our psychology or our daily lives, but of course that's part of our everyday life, that's part of our psychology, and like what happens when, you know, certain ideas are mutated, you know, in the network, and how they become monsters, I guess.